elements of what makes a renew. Like I told you, and I'm repeating once again, your resume should stand out and it reflects your professional personality. See, if somebody comes for a campus interview in your college, and if they're looking for some particular role, and all of you will be, applying for it. So if all of you have the same kind of resume, and if they want to only interview 10 people, how are they going to, select it, right? But if your resume stands out from the others, if it reflects your personality separately from the others, it's not a cut paste job, then the far higher probability of your resume getting picked up for an interview call. It is that important. Okay, so don't take this lightly. Don't say that, okay, all of us have a resume. Some placement committees have a standard format for a resume, the headings for a resume, but the content that you need to fill in, make it more personal, make it more you. Okay. So what should come with? It should have a clear objective. Your objective in the resume should be derived from the job description. Ask your placement whenever somebody is coming to the college for interviews, they must share the job description. I'll tell you why it's important. As a head of HR, I know, see, any job, if you want to have in a company, you need to take an approval from the CEO or the CFO or anybody, the managing director, whoever it is, that there is a profile to be taken. And if that is required, they have to very clearly give a job description and say what is the budget in terms of CTC for that. Unless that is approved, nobody is going to hire you. So therefore, job description is always there. Please insist on it. Okay. Include relevant qualifications and certifications. You note this word, I said relevant. Okay. And then align your resume. Again, I'm repeating this with the job description. So when you get a job description, look at those keywords. At least select 70 to 80% of that job description as keywords and put them as part of your resume. That increases, especially if you're in IT. I'll come to ATS again. They look at a job description and a resume which has got alignment of 80 or 75% more. How do you make that? You got to beat that. I'll take you through all of that in the ATS portion of it. Use relevant type and format. Use bullet points to highlight your achievements. Don't write stories there. Don't write paragraphs there. Always use action verbs. Don't create a fund program when you were a part of a committee. You created or you had, raised fund. That's how. It's always an active verb. Organize. Don't say responsible for organizing. No, say organized. Don't say I was leading. No, I led. Okay, that is how you have to use action verbs. Right? Correct abbreviations. Nobody knows. Everybody need not understand your abbreviation. So the typical, whatever you do that, first write the whole thing first and then abbreviate it. And thereafter, rest of the resume, you can use the abbreviation. Right? And then use very crisp to the point language. Get somebody to read it. Some persons who are very good at English, ask them to go through your resume, make it crisp. And proofread. Always use spell check. It's very unsightly when we find spelling mistakes, somewhere full stop, somewhere not full stops, capitals not in the right place, somewhere it is used, somewhere it is not used. All spelling mistakes, very bad. Always convert your resume to a PDF before you send it, especially on the electronic mode. Because what happens when you send a Word file, there is a tendency for the Word file to get distorted if they don't have the right kind of Word file reader there, if everybody is not using Adobe. So it's possible that you created an Adobe, but when you send it, they're using some other platform to read it, it will not work. Okay. So types of resume, you have a text resume, you have a visual or a two-dimensional one, and you have an infographic one, which is three-dimensional resume. I'll take you through all the three of you. What does it mean? Okay, how does it look like? Right? This first one, this is a text resume. This talks all of text, technical knowledge, professional. I know you can't see this, but it's okay. Your snapshot profile, career graph in case you've got experience, achievement. This is text. Now, this is two-dimensional, where this guy is an IT guy. So on networking and all that, he used, these kind of symbols. Now, an ATS cannot read these symbols. So it's of waste. He's put his logos and all that here of the company where he used, like you see here, he has, let me use his laser. See here what he's done. He's put all the awards that he's put it here. Now the ATS can't read it. He's missing out on the awards that he has got. So don't go ahead and do these kind of things because it can't read. So don't use at all two-dimensional or the three-dimensional. And here is a three-dimensional. It looks very attractive. It got graphs, it got all this, but it's of no use to man or beast because it's not saying what this graph is. Okay, he's given his core competencies, but it doesn't say what it is. Fine. And he is talking about his technical skills and he's put the graph there. It can't read this. Now he's talked his tenures here in terms of a timeline. It looks very attractive, but the ATS can't read a timeline. It can't read tables. It can't read graphs. So don't use all of this. This is okay for a graphic designer or somebody who's into creative and they want to show this. It's okay for them because in creative design companies and all that, nobody uses ATS. They would go by each individual because it's very, very niche. That's the reason. Okay. The next one, this is what you must do. Here is, let me explore. I'll just expand this for you. Okay. So this is a fashion designer. It is her CV. So you must have an email, the contact number, and a snapshot profile of you. Then it should have a core areas of expertise. What are you very good at? She's just put all this. And in educational credentials, you see there is no graph here. There is no table here. So she just mentioned what course she did, where she did it from, and which year. And the year should be in all chronological order. And she's put past in all courses because we have a lot of people who got backlogs, right? Some companies will not want to take you if you got a backlog. Some companies are okay with it, but you have to mention that. Additional qualifications, because she did a beauty therapist course, if you have any education qualifications. Experience, because she was working as an intern, so she's put those details there. Hobbies, which is connected with her profile, she gave those. And then if you see this side, she's given a personality traits, something that will go along with the job that she's looking for, good communications and excellence to commitment and all of that. Awards and recognition, she did get that. So she mentioned that there. She's got a letter of compliments, so she mentioned that. And what are her creative specialization in fine arts, craft, because the job was there. Sports, because she was good at sports, she mentioned this. And then her personal data, she gave a date of birth because the company insisted that they have a date of birth. They had less than 25 years was the criteria they had. And the language which she knew, so she's put that. So they were insisting on a signed one. So that is why she had put this declaration and she had to sign it and send it. So this was one of this. So this is how your CV should look like as a fresher intern. Text CV, simple, has all the detail that is required. Okay. That formats. These excuse me. Sorry about that. So the chronological resume is when all this formats of a resume is important only in case if you got experience. So for most of you, it does not apply, but in case you got experience, just remember this, it should be in chronological one. The last job that you did should be on the top and then the other jobs beyond that. And then it should have a functional or a skill-based resume. If you're of very senior, then it'll be a functional resume. And if you are very particular, but like they ask you for Ruby on Rails, if it is IT one, or they're asking you if you're only specifically if you are a MongoDB as a requirement, then you need to send as a skill-based one. A combination is when you are about mid-career, 10 years, 15 years, when you could put a combination where you put in your skills as well as your functions, right? And a targeted resume is very rare. It is specifically for a particular job, like these gig workers and all have to do. They're good at so many things. So if they are going for a particular aspect, like if I am as a coach, if they're asking me to do on conflict resolution for a company, then my resume in that case will be very targeted. Okay, so that's what it means. And covering letter. So what's a covering letter? So I'm going to deal with what's a covering letter. It's like an elevator pitch. Do you know what's an elevator pitch? Anybody? Just say yes, 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 yes. If you know what, so let me take a look at that in your chat. Just put your chat there if you know what elevator pitch is. Do you know what an elevator pitch? Just put why, if in case you know, if you know what it is, or N if you don't know. I just want to understand if you really know it. Or I can just rush through. Yes, okay, Mama, thanks. All right, Smriti says no. Faisal, yes. Rihanna, no. Okay, good. That's all. Our rest have gone to sleep. Hey, guys, wake up. Okay, Gopin knows, Rexy, no. All right, fine, good. Okay, let me explain what this is, right? So elevator pitches, like what you have to talk about yourself in 30 seconds. That is called an elevator. Everything that you can talk about, they need to know, okay, about you in 30 seconds flat. And why it is called an elevator pitch? Because an elevator takes 30 seconds to go reach from the bottom to the top or from the top to the bottom. So when you get into the lift, you have to introduce someone, and by the time the lift stops, your introduction is done. So that's why it's a 30-second introduction. It's called an elevator pitch. So your covering letter is something like an elevator pitch, and covering letter is not asked or not required in case you're applying to the job portal unless they ask for it. They'll say attach covering letter, only then you do it. Otherwise, only the CV or the resume is required. Sometimes in the website, you just have to upload your resume in the career drop down of that particular company website, in which case only the resume goes there. Okay, no covering letter. But if you're sending a mail to someone and attaching your resume there, then of course you have to have a covering letter. And what goes into a covering letter? Take a quick look at that. 26% of recruiters do consider them critical, and about 56% prefer that you attach a covering letter, and 49% of HR managers consider a covering letter as a second best thing to giving a resume a boost. Now, this Zeti did this survey, so I just shared this with you. So it's more of whether they want it or not. It's not really beyond 50%, all of this, except for attaching covering letter to resume, somebody insisting on it, right? What is it? It's better to use a covering letter to your CV. It's not for templates, okay? Templates is in, like, if you go to LinkedIn, it's asking you for a job profile, just ask you to upload your CV now, or a resume. So you don't need a covering letter there. Then it answers the question, why should they hire you? Just 3 paragraphs is all that you must have in your covering letter, right? And what all does it have? It should highlight your combination of a skill and your experience, in case if you have that. Otherwise, what you should also mention what you're focusing. The second paragraph should tell you why you are wanting to contribute to the focus or to the future of the company. That's important. And it should be very crisp. Okay, why is the profile exciting you? If you cover these 3 aspects, it's very good. If you can get the name of the HR manager to whom it goes, it'd be very good if you can do that. Otherwise, it's okay. It's preferable. Okay. And finally, in case somebody has referred you from the company, please mention the name of that person in your covering letter. It adds value, it adds weight. Okay. And avoid sounding desperate. I have not got a job for the past 1 year, sir. So please kindly, I need it desperately, sir. And all. I won't give a job to anybody who's desperate, frankly speaking. Okay. I'm looking for people who can contribute to the company. I'm not running a charity. As a head of HR, that's my thought. Fine. I'm looking for somebody who it's a win-win. It should help the employee and the employee should help the company. I don't give jobs because somebody has got some problems at home. So be very careful. Don't sound desperate. Close the letter with a gratitude and a contact information, right? Okay, 75 to 88% of resumes are not qualified for job, and that is why companies use this application tracking system. So what is it? Application tracking system is the software. I'll tell you a quick reason why you need it. Let us say there is a hiring manager in a company. Now, this hiring manager will have minimum about 10 profiles. You'll have more than that, but minimum you'll have 10 profiles to hire within the company, and he has to hire within 45 days to 2 months, all these people. So he will float it in all this now, Gray, Indeed, LinkedIn, everywhere he will float it, and he'll get all the resumes to him in the first 3 or 4 days, and he has to start sifting it. If at least 300 to 500, he gets more than that. Especially entry-level jobs, there are thousands of resumes that comes to him. Now, if he gets at least 500 and 10 profiles, that is 5,000 CVs or resumes he has to go through. Do you think it's humanly possible? He can't do it. She can't do it. So therefore, they use this software called application track system, in which what they do, they say, here is the job description. These are the keywords. I want resumes which are matching 70% or 80% of these keywords. Only that is to be filtered. So this ATS will go through this through the resumes that you've sent, whether it is hard copy or soft copy, and it will pull out only that which has got this filter in it. And thereafter, from that 10, 15, he will call about 5 or 6 for the interviews. Again, another human interface. So this is the virtual or the digital interface that is filtering your resumes. And then comes the human one, which he does subsequently. So therefore, this application tracking system, everything comes here. Its software works on this one. And then it selects who are the people it has to be called based on it. 98% of the Fortune 500 companies use ATS. Today, 66% of large companies use ATS and 35% of small and medium. This was done by Kelly OG. They have done this OCG survey. They picked this up. So please go ahead and make sure that your resume is application tracking system compliant. Okay, now what does that mean? I will take you to the next one. Now, fortunately or unfortunately, you do not know whether they use or not. You do not know which is the 60% companies are using it or which is the 35%. So therefore, you make sure that you are ATS compliant. Okay. So what goes into it? These are some of the hygiene factors on the resume. The first is it should leave a margin of 1 inch because the software cannot read what goes into the margin. Right. Second, avoid headers and footers. The latest ones will perhaps read headers and footers, but if you got some information there, it cannot read. The earlier ones, they can't read. There are about 15 to 20 various kinds of softwares which companies are licensed it for. So we do not know which are the ones there, and we don't know what is the vintage of these ATS. So therefore, don't take chances. Recommended fonts that only these fonts it can read: Times New Roman, Arial, Calibri, Garamond, Cambria, Georgia, Tahoma, and Verdana. It can only read these fonts. The reason is, let's say if you put some italic one, like say brush or say the Helvetia or something like that. Sorry, not Helvetia. This there is this one Roman. There's a Catholic one which has got that scripted one. So if you use that, between the letter 5 or the letter S, it can't make out. It's a software, remember. So therefore, it will confuse. So if you say something on a figure, it might read it as a word. So that is why, right? Font size should be between 10 to 12 points. Avoid fancy fonts, colors, word art, icons. It cannot read any of these. Use a correct abbreviation and check for grammar and spelling mistakes. Fine. And use only docx and PDF. Remember, use only docx and PDF, preferably PDF. Only these two the ATS can read. You cannot read any other. It cannot read PNG. It cannot read pics. Okay. Never use scanned or an image resume. See, what we do is we got a smartphone. Somebody asked for a job. It came on your mobile and in the email. You immediately take your resume. You take a scan of that or take a screenshot of it. Now that is an image. That is a PNG. It's a JPEG. And then you send it, right? Thinking that it will go get picked up. But it will not pick up because the ATS cannot read an image, JPEG, or a scam scanned one. We have those scam scanners in your mobiles. It cannot read all of that. So it has to be a PDF or a docx. Okay. So just remember these are small mistakes people make, right? Popular software, just for your information, ATS compatibility, whether it's compatible, if you want to know, you can go and download these job scans, skill syncer, targeted resume worded, all these are there. Google it, you'll get it. They will tell you how much of it is ATS compatible. And you can also put your JD in it, and you can also load your resume. It will match it and tell you how much percentage match it is. So if it is, say, 75.9% and just looking for 80%, which you don't know, it's better to change some words and make sure it is beyond 80%. These are some of the softwares, 8-year softwares. CIMS is very popular ones: Oracle, Taleo, Bullhorn, JobRite, Bamboo HR, IBM, Kenexan. So these are some of the softwares, 8 years. So just for academic interest, okay? By knowing it, you can't do anything about it. You don't know which company is using which one also, right? Okay, common mistakes. I'll go through a few ones. You see these created working models and structure for customer care. The space, an extra space, okay? A little unsightly. Introduce software orientations. You see, orientations, the S is not required here. So they are plural and singular. Be careful about that. And then full stops. Somewhere you use full stops or somewhere you don't. Either you don't use full stops at all in your complete resume, or wherever required, you must use full stop. Create a dashboard for facilities. What is wrong here? The spelling of facilities. Okay. So make sure all spell check is done. You don't do that. What is this mistake here? Manage 2 assistants who reported to me. Your tense is wrong here. It should have been managed. Okay. And then the last one is, structured vendor payout model and scheduling. What's wrong here? Your capital is not correct. Okay. So these are just some of those mistakes that commonly comes. That's it I have to tell you about. And always use spell check and grammar checking tools before submitting it. Now, so I want to share my experiences. How can I be of help? I can advise you on preparing a CV, which I take 1-hour session for you. Obviously, all of this is paid. It's my career. I don't do things for free. And LinkedIn profiling, if you want to get your LinkedIn profiling done, I do it for 1 to 1.5 hours. Preparing an interview, this is very important. A lot of us think that by speaking great language, we'll pass through interviews. Sorry, the big mistake. If you may be great at debates, but in an interview, you can be a miserable failure because you did not tell them what you have to tell them. So preparing for interview is a skill set. I will share this with you in that. Mock interviews, I can do that for you and give you a feedback so that you can improve your interview standards. So I have written this book, how to, what is this? Just one second. What is happening? Okay, so this is the book, and if you see this book, this has got the interview preparation. There is a mindset which is there. I'm talking about in this book, The Secret. Your perception matching, tips to have an edge over others, creating visibility in the mind of the interviewer. Because out of 10 people, the one who is more visible in terms of having captured the way that you answered, that is the person who's going to get the job, right? So how to do that? Techniques of answering frequently asked questions and not simply. How do you do that? And my book is interactive. I got spaces there in the book with lines so that you can write your answers to that. A QR code to capture the checklist of the interview so that on your smartphone, virtual interviews and how to excel, the views of CEOs and CHROs from across the globe. What do they look for in interviews, and what do they, why do they reject people on interviews? I've given all of that there in that one. Fine. So cost of a pizza, $4.99 on Amazon. Take a screenshot of this, and this is how you link on this on Amazon. If you go and type this title, How to Sharpen Your Interview Skills, you will get this book and you can buy it, right? Very useful. In 1 hour, you can finish it. It's a conversational English, and 102 pages out of that, less all the other pages. If you look within about 80-90 pages is done. But every word is in that book is worth its weight. You will change your opinion there. This book has been reviewed by Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad, and it's come in their magazine. And in US, they have a grad festival every year where thousands of universities go there. So they've also reviewed my book there. So in the US also, people have, obviously that is not the paperback. It went in for the the Kindle version of that. And this book has got 52 reviews. It's about 2 years since I have made this book, a little over 2 years, 2.5 years actually. 52 reviews. Thanks everybody who has reviewed. Some of you may be here. And these are some of the ones that is there. This is the latest reviews that were there. And one of the things that I found in this book, after all these people have interacted with me, was students, freshers, managers, senior managers. They are the ones who find this book. So it's meant for across everybody, including people from the armed forces in case they are here at the session. And this is what it made a remarkable difference in the thought process before and after reading the book. So these are the 2 reviews I got in this month in May when people have bought this book. I've sold more than 250, in fact, the 250th book, and I got the 52nd review on this book, right? So get rid of this book. It's of use to, I'm not trying to do any sales talk here, but it makes sense to make use of this book, okay? So this is my, how to reach out to me, my QR code. You can click on this on your smartphone. You will get my digital diary. It talks about all that I've done. I have my YouTube channel where you can, a lot of career enhancement videos are there. Go ahead and subscribe to it. So whenever I upload a video on careers, it's there. You will get to know it. I have my, of course, my website is there. And then my blogs are there. And in LinkedIn, my LinkedIn Connect is there. So if you go ahead and scan this, and if you get it, you will get my profile, what is the coaching, testimonials of there, then right career, how do you choose, all these are there. This is my LinkedIn profile. Please connect with me on LinkedIn because I keep uploading a lot of stuff on the LinkedIn also. This is my YouTube channel. You can connect me there. And if you want to reach out to me, my address and everything, of course, is there.